Hello viewers, welcome to CodeForAny. Medicare Apps Backend API, Node.js inside. Today we need to develop this here the admin logins API. Inside we need to two way to create here. If you using here the mobile number to OTP to logins, then possibles with the Firebase. And if you not needs here the check here the authentications with here the Firebase, if you directly give this here the email address and passwords, then to logins like this second way. If you use here, I need to explain here the second way email address and with passwords because already apps inside we need to explain this here the Firebase OTP with logins how to put this here. So we need to write down here. But now we need to use this here the second way into use here email address and passwords. First of all, need this for the passwords. We need to modify these tables. Need to go inside here the Medicare database and select here the user details tables, and now need to find out here the after columns need to add here the password columns need to email address afters need to click here the go and to write down here the password, and to set this here varchars and to set this here password as a maximum 15, and by default need to set this here the password blank. We need to set here. Now need to save here these columns need to added here, and now need to create here the API. First of all, need to call this here the app.post methods and to creating here the form URL xcode m x URL encoded API we need to develop here. So now we need to write down here the slash API slash admin, and we need to give this here the logins, and we need to returns here the two callback parameters. First one is the request, second one is response like here. Now we need to print this here the request body. We need to use this here the helper.dlogs, and we need to request.body. We need to print this here, and also need to save inside the one variables request object is equal to need to write down here request.body like here. Now we need to check this here the required parameters. Need to call this here the helper.check valid parameters. First one need to response object, then to request objects. Then after need to give this here the needed parameters need to check here. So need to write down here the names. First ones need to email address needs. Then after need to password need. Then after need to need this here the OS type. Then after push token. And last one is socket. ID needs here these parameters. Same as, but we need to add this here the password includes. We need to add here and to remove this here the mobile numbers. Like we need to checking here. If you this here the valid then to get this here the callback blank callbacks functions we need to get here like here write downs. Now we need to check here the this passwords and email address are the valids. If not valid, then to calls here the response false. We need to returning here invalid passwords. Now we need to write down here. Call this here the db dot query, and we need to first of all create here the where, and we need this here the authentication tokens. We need to generate here like this sentence. We need to copy, and we need to paste this here. Now we need to write down here the update query. We need to write down here update user details, and set. Now we need to give this here the column names. Also need to set here the auth token like here question mark, and also need to give this here the modification date, modify date and question mark, and we need to set here the where conditions email question mark and password question mark and user type. Also need to verify because this is the admin. Need to set here the question mark like here the verifies, and now need to pass one by one parameters inside the request dot. First of all need to authentication tokens need to put here, then request dot email, then after request objects, maybe mistake here, request object dot passwords need to put here, then after need to needs here the user types. We need to define here the user type admins as a pi. We need to set here, need to give this here the fixed value as a pi. Check here, like here. Now need to get here the errors and results objects need to returning here. Like here. Then after multiple query need to calls. After update we need to call this here the select user underscore id from. You need to call here the database query, maybe typo user detail, and we need to set here where condition. Again we need to copy this here the where conditions, paste this here, and again copy this value and to paste this here. Make sure we need to give this here the comma separators, otherwise not working here. Need to write down here. If errors get, then to call this here the helper dot throw HTML errors. Response, first we need to pass this here the error and response object and return these functions. If not any errors, then to check here results index of 0 and affected row we need to calculate here more than 0 means successfully logins, and else parts JSON need to set here the status, set here the 0, and we need to write down here the message invalid email address and passwords. Now need to type of fix here invalid, like here. Now if here the successfully, then need to getting here the response. Need to yesterday need to create here the API for the gets user id by users functions. Pass this here the request object index of 1 and 0 value, and to give this here the user id pass here. Now need to get this here the callbacks is get, and we need to user objects need to returning this here if successfully, like here. Now need to response objects need to call this here the request sessions status, set here the 1, and we need to pass this here the payload. Need to pass here the user object, like here, and also need to set here the message login successfully. Return this message and to save this here. And this is the creatings for the admin API. We need to done here and to set this here. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.